Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another great edition of the WSE Lounge. As you can tell, I probably don't look my best, and I've felt better. I haven't felt too good. I've been under the weather the past few days. And also, I want to send out my well wishes to former TNA Knockout and Ring of Honor ladies wrestler Velvet Sky. She's been having a lot of medical problems. Not exactly sure what they are, but she has been sick for quite some time now, and she's been having a lot of medical problems. So my thoughts and prayers go out to her. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome back to the show for the first time in 5 years. The last time he was on this show, he was known as Soap Mania. He was the third ever guest that I had on this show. Please welcome back wrestling legend, Mr. Olympia, Jerry Stubbs.
Hey, man, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing best.
I hear you're under the weather a little bit. I know what you feel like, and I feel the same way, man. My head's been stopped up, but hey, you gotta keep going. I'm pushing 69, man, so you gotta keep it going.
Wow, that's right, and that's all you can do, keep it going. And I'll be 37 in April, Lord willing.
37. See, I'm twice your age.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I don't see it. I've gone through some heart surgery. You know, I had a 4-way bypass, and then I had a couple new stents put in probably about 6 weeks ago, and then I also had a new pacemaker put in. So I got me going, man. I'm ticking.
Oh man. Well, best of luck on speedy recovery on that. I didn't know you had that just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's you just get out there, and when it hurts, you go. I kept telling the doctor, there's something's not right.
Yeah.
So he gave me a nuclear test, and then it showed everything was fine. And I kept telling him, no, it's not fine. It's not fine. So then he took me in and gave me that catheter, and he found that he had to put 2 stents in. One was 95% blocked, one was 85% blocked. And I said, well, how come, the other didn't show? And he couldn't tell me why. So you never know about science.
No, you don't. And, my dad always told us, and, back when he was living, when he had, it was in October of 2001, they did a echo Doppler on him, and they didn't find nothing. And he said, you need to do a heart catheterization on me.
Right.
And he said that's the best thing to always do. So they did the heart catheter, and they found five blockages, and they were able to fix 4 of them, and the other one they wasn't able to fix. But so that's the best thing to do, to check you out,
Yeah, I know. There was one they couldn't fix on me, but they fixed the other 2. So, and I've been feeling pretty good. I work at the sheriff's department every other week. I work for the magistrate court, and everything. So it gives me something to do, and I keep moving. And I go down south to Dothan, Alabama a lot, because we run some shows there, and I go up to Tennessee some and do some up there. So I'm still involved. I don't get in the ring too much, but I have jumped in there, which my wife gets crazy and says, you shouldn't do that, don't do that, I ain't coming no more. So anyway, but you know me, I get excited and all that, and I want to get in there and do something. So, and I do, and I shouldn't, but I do.
Well, speaking of that, you brought that up before we get into the other questions. I had a question from Harold. He wanted me to ask you, is there a partnership with Wrestle America and Continental Wrestling?
Yes, there is, and we work. Actually, I've been going to Barnesville, Georgia. We've got Wrestle America down there, and it's been doing real good, and we got some good young talent. And when I go down there, I look at it, and I remember how I started, and and I wasn't that good, and I kind of got people following me, and I got better, better, and better. Went to several territories and got hooked up with this one and that one, Bill Watts at one time, and the Fullers, and so on. And I was bound and determined that, hey, I'm going to make this. You know, I was working with the police department.
Yeah.
And so on. I said, I'm going to make this. This is part-time, but I'm going to do this. I like it. I enjoy it, and I'm going to do it. So I got to working out, got a little bigger. You know, when I first started, I weighed about 165 pounds. So they were throwing me around here like, you know, a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that, you know, and I got started, and I did that, and I stuck with it, you know. But America is part of CCW, which is Continental Championship Wrestling. And I tell you, I was there last. They run it. They have their matches the second Saturday. The second Saturday of every month. So that's when they have them. They have them at the Academy Gym. I think it's a daycare thing or something. It's a real nice little gym. And these people, they come out whether it rains, whether it's sun shining or not. I can't believe I ain't seen a sunshine day that I've been going down there. And I've been down there 5 or 6 times. So it don't matter. I mean, it rains, they come. They kind of fill it up, and they have a good time. And they got some real good young talent. And like I said, it brings me back to when I started. You know. And it's interesting, you know, and we're going to have most of these. I don't know if you ever heard about the Fan Fest thing that we have in Dothan, Alabama.
Yes, I have heard about that. I believe Travis Ensworth runs that.
Actually, a guy named Dennis Gale.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of Dennis Gale.
Yeah, Dennis is a good buddy, a friend of mine, and I'm in the office part of it. I do a lot of the scouting and getting things and getting something. But we have it the weekend after Mother's Day in May. Okay. And it's an event that you'll get to see. Can I go ahead and name some of these?
Sure.
You get people like the Rock and Roll Express this year. They're coming down there. Robert Gibson, Ricky Morton, they'll be there. You know, they were World Tag Team Champions at one time. And then you got the Midnight Express, Randy Rose, Dennis Connery, and Bobby E. You know, they're a lot of these are old schools, but we also have matches with the new guys, the new upcoming people. And then you got Tennessee stud Ron Fuller. A lot of people have heard about him. Bullet Bob Armstrong, Ron Fuller, Lord Humongous. I don't know if you heard about him. You know, he kind of looks like Jason.
Now, is Sid Vicious still doing that character or somebody else?
No. Well, actually, it was 2 people. There was one named, what was his name, Maureen? Oh, well, there's 2 of them anyway, but it's not Sid Vicious.
Okay.
It's the other one. And he's going to be there. And Bob Orton Jr., I know a lot of people heard about him.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Atlas will be there. I'm going to be there. You know, I still call myself Mr. Olympia, Jerry Stubbs. I'll be there. Cowboy Dennis Gale. And that's not all. I mean, we're still signing up people. That's just 20 of us. And it's going to be there. So if you come down there, it's going to be the weekend after Mother's Day, and it's on the way to Panama City. You go right, if you're going through Dothan, Alabama, you go south on 231, and you'll see the Crossroads Center Stage, it's called, and it's a nice building. And we're going to have it there, and it's always been a hit, man. I mean, you know, people enjoy it. There's all kind of things to do. There's interviews with people. There's pictures taken with belts and things like that. And it's just a good event to go to if you're going. Hey, make your plans to go to Panama City, stop in Dothan, stay there 2 days, go to Panama City for 2 days, and come on back.
All right, well that sounds good, fans. Now, Jerry, I did want to ask you before we get into any more questions. You mentioned the Midnight Express coming to that event. What about Stan Lane?
Stan Lane. Been talking to Stan Lane. Stan Lane hadn't committed yet. Now, that's a possibility. Put a question mark on that one because It hadn't been decided yet. The Dirty White Boys, same thing, put a question mark. Still talking to these people. They're still trying to make, people got jobs now and they got other things to do, so they got to kind of plan for what you want to do in the event, and so on and so on. But Stan Lane's another one that we've been talking to, so he is a question mark.
And any plans about James E. Cornette, Jim Cornette?
Cornette's been busy. We've talked to Cornette. Cornette's so busy we can't get him down here, but there's a possibility that he will be coming with Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose with the Midnight Express.
Okay, and
good possibility. We got a couple months. We're still working on it. We try to get these people before they make commitments to go other places, and so on. And he's been making a tour with the Midnight Express, so we're hoping we can get him down there too.
Okay, and you also mentioned Wrestle America. Is that the Taylor Street Gym you're talking about in Thomaston?
Right. Yeah, I think it's Taylor Street Gym right there. It's called Academy Gym.
Okay.
It's right there, man. It's a nice place.
Yeah, that's
not a whole lot of parking, but you can park on the road and the side and all that. But we've been getting good crowds. It's been good, man. They've been interested in seeing what we got. There's a lot of upcoming stars that they like. And we'll have something big there pretty soon, too, probably sometime in the summer.
Okay.
With a lot of these older groups.
Okay, sounds great. And I want to let Jennifer Pruskin, thank you for joining. Ellen Canfield Goggin, thank you for joining. Alan Moore, thank you for joining. Harold has another question. He says, who came up with the Jivin' Jerry Stubbs gimmick?
I got to looking around, and I've been Mr. Olympia, and I've been this, that, the other, and I like to cut a rug, as they used to say back in the day,
Yeah.
and I said, I'm gonna get me a hat, get me a vest, and I'm gonna call myself Jivin' Jerry. I just love to get out there and dance and go around the ring and I get put on the show. I just enjoy it. So I actually came up with it, the Jivin' Jerry part of it, and then we were using that music. I ain't decided on my music though. I do like that the music comes with that, but I've been looking for something else. So if anybody's got any ideas and wants to send me a tune, and I'll look at it and I might use it. If I do, I may even pay you way down to FanFest to come down.
All right, that sounds like a good deal, folks. Sounds like a very good deal. Alan Moore says, "Hey Jerry, it's Alan. Looking forward."
Alan's gonna be there. Now, I know Alan will be there.
Okay, he says, "Looking forward to seeing you in Dothan in May."
Oh yeah, okay, man. And he's gonna be there. He's a good follower. He's one of our. I'd give him fan of the year.
Fan of the year. All right. Dothan, I believe it is, not Dothan. I don't know why I said Dothan.
Yeah,
I meant Dothan.
I don't know, man. Hey, if we got a chance, we might want to go to Dothan.
Now, for those out there who have never heard your first WSE Lounge interview when it's back at Soap Mania, can you tell everyone how you got your start in wrestling?
Well, I kind of got my start several different ways. I had a friend, that was my cousin, Mike Stallmaker, and he went by Mike Stallings, and he was hooked up with Robert Fuller, and they went to school together down in McDonough, Henry County High School, and I did too. I lived down in Flippin, which was right outside McDonough, and with my grandmother, and I got hooked up with them, and we all worked out a little bit in the barn down with the Fullers, who are the Welches, and we'd go to Locust Grove, we'd work out and play in the ring all the time, and so on. So I had a little bit of background of taking bumps and doing things, but I actually got involved with Rocky Johnson, who just passed away not long ago.
Oh.
And he helped me. We went down to Griffin to the sports arena down there on weekends. He'd take me down on Sundays, and we'd stay 2, 3, 4 hours and Rock was down there, and he'd be hitting the bottom rope, and we'd hit the rest of them, and we'd work out, you know, and work out till, and Rocky just took a liking to me, and he said, look, you know, this, that, and the other, and then finally they needed some help on TV, you know, they called us job boys, and, you know, they'd work me. They'd call me and say, hey, you want to work there? I said, well, I'd like to work under the mask. I've been under the police department, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I hate for everybody to see me getting my tail whooped because I'm going to have trouble out here to have to whoop somebody when I stop them, you know.
Yeah.
Never had that problem, you know. But that's how I kind of got started. And actually, I owe mine to Rocky Johnson getting me in with everybody that would look at me and give me that opportunity.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Rocky was he was a great wrestler and the Soul Man, and you know, his son Dwayne Johnson. He's come a long way. I tell you, he can play music, sing, and play football and movies. He can do it all.
Yeah, he can do it all.
Buford Perry says, hey, Jerry Stubbs.
Tell him, hey, man.
He says, hey, Buford Perry. Now, I wanted to mention something to you because you was talking a little bit ago about Randy Rhodes. A lot of people out there don't know Randy's real name was Randy Alls.
Right, yeah, he's one of our Forest Park boys.
I went to
school. Yeah.
Well, a couple years ago, I got the privilege of going to his childhood home where he grew up at. I met his mother Helen before she passed away, and you know, I was talking with Helen and stuff, and we got on the subject of Abdullah the Butcher, and she said, you know, I'm gonna tell you something. She said, you know, old Abdullah, he ain't that mean in real life as you think. I said, he's not. She said, no. She said, he comes every year and has Thanksgiving dinner with us. I said, Thanksgiving dinner with you? I said, he don't get a fork or nothing get after you? She said, nah, he's just calm as can be. I said, wow.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've had some of the wildest matches in a couple of the, you know, the armories.
Yeah.
We used to wrestle a lot of the armories back then, you know. We didn't get a chance to get in the big show up in the armories and stuff like that, so we were in the armories. We said the armory, that, you know, the armory sounds the same to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what you had to go through, man. That's where you got your experience. And me and Abdullah, we call him Abby. Me and Abby used to wrestle a lot of places in some of them armories, man. We'd go all over and everything be bleeding from one end to the other.
Man. Yeah, I tell you now, you know, it's a lot, you know, to me, today's wrestling, it's good and everything, but it's not the old school classic wrestling of WCW Saturday Night or Continental Wrestling or Memphis or any of that stuff, and you know, and there's some stuff they do in wrestling now that absolutely has nothing to do with the sport itself, and you wonder, what are they doing and why are they doing this? Because it's no relation.
A lot of acrobatic stuff now. You know, they get out there. We call them high spots. You know, people know we call them high spots.
Yeah.
And you get out there, and it's time to do a high spot. If you want to get the crowd up, you got to do something. You know, and so on and so on. You've got to build a story. They don't build no stories anymore.
Yeah.
You know, there's got to be a story built out there where they like the good guy, they don't like the good guy, they're pulling for the bad boy or whatever they're doing. There's got to be a story in your match. You know, I mean, there may be some history behind me and Bullet Bob Armstrong that, hey, we don't get along in certain areas. And when we get out there, that certain areas comes out into your profile. You know, and you get rough, and you get where, hey, no, you're not going to do this to me, and I'm not going to let you do that, and so on. And it gets a little rough at times. You know, and that's the way it should be, and so on. We got a match to get over, a thing to do, but I'm out there to make myself over for the fans to like me more than you or hate me whooping you. Who knows? You know, if I think that I get more on you hating me for whooping him, yeah, I'm gonna whoop him like a dog. You know, and you just get over it. And you know, they used to call me unpredictable because I'd go out there one night, I'd be good as Grace, and the next night I'd be the devil.
Wow.
You know, and they would say, hey, you know, I don't know what he's going to do tonight, but he's unpredictable. We better watch. So, and it makes it interesting. They go to watch to see what I'm going to do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I know they were watching, and I'd get as wild as I could get, you know, and before I could get thrown out, you know. So I get as wild as I could get. That's just the way it is, you know. Being a bad guy or a good guy, whatever. If I'm a good guy, I'm gonna be as good as I can be.
Oh yeah, most definitely, ladies and gentlemen. I want to introduce everybody to Little Man. This is Little Man making his debut. My dog I got about a week or two ago from the Humane Society. He's a little Chihuahua, and I'm pretty sure Jerry's seen pictures of him on Facebook I've shared. he wanted to get on here.
I don't know, you probably saw my beast on Facebook. I got this golden retriever over here, Irish cream. Is it Irish cream, boy? English cream. And he weighs 120 pounds. I go to Joanne's down here.
Oh, wow.
And he's a sport, man, I'm telling you.
Man.
He's a sport. Yeah.
Jill Eubanks, hello. Can't stay today, still at work. Okay, thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in, Jill Eubanks. Harold Martin says, Little Man makes his WSE debut. Thank you, Harold. Now, Jerry, you know, you're talking about that as wrestlers, you know, back in the day, if y'all were in a certain town, y'all had to keep that going to where if you didn't like each other in a certain town, you had to make it stay that way. And in some towns, you know, you were friends. So my question to you is this, because you brought up a very good point that I happen to think of. Do you think in today's industry, and this is who I'm going to single out here, and folks, I'm not cutting the person down, nothing, but John Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose, right now in AEW, he wears an eye patch. Okay, at the recent New Japan Pro Wrestling New Year's Dash, he fought Minoru Suzuki, Japanese legend. During that matchup, he had no patch on the eye, and to me that was breaking kayfabe because you could clearly see both eyeballs, and you knew he wasn't injured, even though he wasn't on AEW property. So back in the day, when y'all were going town to town, y'all were injured, you had to keep that up, right?
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, you did get hurt, and it was like that, and you might have had to wear that for a while because of it, and things like that happen. And there are accidents, but, you know, things like that happen because people get carried away out there. You get excited, and things get to happen. I mean, you know, and that punch gets to be where it lands pretty good, you know, in some cases, and things like that. And if it happens, then you'll go and say, hey, man, doctor says I got to wear this patch for 2 or 3 weeks, you know, so might as well say, you caused it, I'm going to blame you for it, you know, and so on and so on, and it gets a little rough out there, and things get happening, and you give somebody a knee sometime, and he may turn his head, and you hit him right in the nose and the jaw, and I've seen broken jaws, broken noses. But you shouldn't have turned your head. You know, you got to learn what you're doing and try to keep yourself out of that harm's way. You know, and that's the thing. If somebody goes to give me an arm drag, I'm going to take it, because if I don't, he's liable to jerk my arm out of joint.
Oh, yeah, because
you know, and things like that. If I see I'm coming off the rope, he looks like he's going to give me a hip toss, I'm going to take that hip toss, because I want to land the best I can and get up and kick his butt.
That's right, because if you don't if you don't take it the right way or handle it the right way, then something could, of course, go
I'm
wrong
hurt,
in the match.
I'm hurt, and I'm at a disadvantage, and he's gonna get the best of me, and it ain't the way it's supposed to be.
That's right. That's right. Sean O'Connor, welcome. He's watching. I know you know Sean O'Connor. Hannah Lauren Rainwater, welcome. Thank you for watching. And Becky
I do some rainwater.
Jacoby.
There's a lot of rainwaters in this area.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, Hannah Rainwater, I've been knowing her family a long time. There was her grandpa was the late Eddie Rainwater. And her grandma was Jane Rainwater, I know.
You remember that old Rainwater's grocery over there? I used to go get steaks over there in off 42 Highway.
Now, you know, I've heard of the Rainwater's grocery over there. I think that was before my time, though, but I have heard of it, though. I'm not sure if Hannah is related to anybody that ran that grocery store, though. If you're still watching, Hannah, if you are related, you know, you can type down below. If you're not, then you know, type down below, let us know. Now, Jerry, I want to ask you this because I know it was somewhat controversial, and you know, I'm a big AEW supporter, and I like AEW, but I did not agree with this, and I know former guest of the WSE line, Dr. Tom Pritchard, also spoke his comments about it. What were your comments and thoughts about the way AEW kind of snubbed Memphis Wrestling and not bringing out a lot more legends than they did? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, AEW, I hate it when a group tries to go against the group. You know. Because then they got to show out, they got to do this, and they got to try to do what they can to make their group look good. And AEW now, the first couple times I've seen them, I enjoyed it. I think they're trying to overdo it. Don't try to compete with them. Go out there and do your best.
Yeah.
Go out there and have your program, do your program, and make it the best you can make. And don't worry about Vince McMahon or anybody like that. He's got money. If you got money, you can compete. But don't go to compete. Go and make your product the best it can be.
I agree. I agree. And it's like NWA Power. You know, they're doing their own thing on YouTube, and they're not really trying to compete with anybody else. And Impact's also doing that, and Ring of Honor, they're doing that. And but you know,
and there's some good, you know, and I watch a lot of them. And there's certain matches that I want to watch because some of them I don't care about. And I still watch them, and you know, and they need improvements. And they'll get improvements. You know, as long as they're working steady here, there, and wherever, they're working steady. They're gonna get better. But they got to know that. It ain't all high spots. I mean, you know, just because I get out there and do that, I ain't a circus. This ain't a circus.
Yeah.
And sometimes they treat it like a circus doing these things and so on. And some of them now, let me tell you, I remember when I used to be able to move like that, and I can't do some of the things that they do now, but and they're impressive. The moves are impressive. But sometimes these impressive moves should be beating you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was so impressive. It's almost like watching that race and Ryan Newman having it wrecked, that you just look at it and say, oh, my God, that's got to be over with. You know?
Yeah.
And I hated it, man. I was pulling for him to win. But, you know, things like that happen, and they go out there and they give it their all, and that's what they should do in the wrestling bench. Give it your all and see what happens. You know, get out there on your own when you're not working. Don't worry about just, hey, I'm going so-and-so this week, and I'm booked all week. Well, you need to get out there and do some other stuff, too. You need to get ready and be your best.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and over in WWE, there's a lot of questionable things they do as well. I mean, like for instance, I don't think any company, because I seen AEW do this after they went off the air. A few weeks ago, they had a guy in the audience. He was dressed up as Jesus, and they brought him in the ring, and they said Jesus Christ, and I'm like, that's blasphemy against the Holy Ghost, and against God.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna
Yeah.
turn a lot of people off.
That's right.
And when you turn them off, they don't want to come back and watch. Races
That's
now,
right.
the NASCAR people are fighting to get their people back because all your older drivers are gone. And there's a new drivers here. But if you can't get the people following your new talent, you ain't gonna have nothing.
Yeah, and also WWE doing the whole Seth Rollins Messiah gimmick. I don't think that is called for. That's also blasphemy against against God and stuff. I don't know.
The dog food,
Yes.
and all that stuff. That's getting kind of overboard.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of ridiculous,
It is.
I mean, you go in there and jump him, all of you beat him up, make him look bad, and so on and so on. That would make me worse than the other. That other is just disgraceful, and that's just nasty. It's just nasty.
It is. It is, and so I know that you follow. I know you follow the different products out there and stuff, and everything with AEW, WWE, NWA Power, Ring of Honor. Have you now? Speaking of NWA Power, I did want to ask you: have you been contacted to maybe make an appearance at NWA Power or anything?
I hadn't been contacted in any. They may not have my number, but a lot of people know where I'm at, and so on. But I hadn't been invited to anything like that or nothing.
Okay. And what was it like for you wrestling against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Bob Backlund many years ago, back in the 80s, I believe it was?
Oh, man. Bob Backlund was the first guy that I wrestled in Atlanta City Auditorium, and we worked the first match. And I was green as green, and we went 15 minutes to a draw. And I'd say, man, I went 15 minutes with Bob Backlund. He was the world champion back then, And he just worked first match. Now, I have no idea why he worked the first match with me. But I worked him, and he told me, hey, just here we go. We're going to get in there. We're going to have a good time. And we did. We had a good time. And went 15 minutes before I even knew it.
Wow.
But, there's something else. I went with Harley Race up in Charlotte one time. I had to wrestle Harley Race on TV in Charlotte. And me and Harley Race, and he just said, hey, relax, kid. We're going here. Just relax. And I went, 5-6 minutes with the world champion at that time. So that's when I first started. So, I had a lot. I had Abdullah when I first started. I had the Anderson brothers when I first started. I had Moondog Maine. There's a lot of these people don't even remember Moondog Maine.
I remember Moondog Spot and Moondog Rex.
They was a tag team. But there was a Moondog Maine in Atlanta at one time. I think Dick Slater was there. A whole bunch of people was there at that time. But we had a slew of people back in that day. When I first started, I was with a lot of people that really helped me in wrestling too. He's another one, that gave me advice, and I traveled up and down the road with, and he'd tell me that, things about, hey, do this, do that. You look good tonight. You need to do this. You need to do that, and so on and so on. And I got a dog. My dog over here, he is trying to jump in my lap.
Oh, wow.
Jake, would you stop? Jake, will State Farm, would you quit? He won't leave me alone. He wants to play. About this time every night, I play with him, and he wants to play, and he can't go outside. It's raining, so we got to deal with that. Now, Jake, quit. So will your mama. Yeah, but anyway, that's what I learned. Every day I wanted to do something different. I jumped off the top rope. I did drop kicks. When I went to Mid-South, Bill Watts liked my drop kicks, and I had a drop kick gimmick where I put it on my foot and then I drop kick people, knock them out. That was one of my finishes over there. So it's today they do too much in a one match. They need to draw that picture. If they draw that picture, you're going to find out that the two that draw that picture, when they get down towards the end, they're actually fighting more than they are wrestling, because they both want to get to that point.
Uh-huh.
And it makes it more interesting because, hey, here we are. We're going to go 15, 20 minutes, people going nuts, this, that, and the other, and you get excited to get that adrenaline going. And it's just, from there, it's just what you want to do,
Well, what about Ricky Steamboat now? You didn't mention
Ricky
it.
Steamboat, yeah, Ricky Steamboat was, and still is, man. He was one of the best. I went up to Charlotte. Actually, we stayed in the same apartment complex up there when I went up in that territory. He helped me a good bit too. Now, Ricky was a true babyface. People don't know what babyface and heels are, but the heels are the bad guys, and the babyfaces are the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are heel and babyface. So, but Ricky Steamboat, to me, should have been a world champion.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Steamboat was
been a real good world champion like Jack Briscoe.
Yeah, he's a class act. I mean, really good. In the ring, psychology and everything. And I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that I think should have been world champion. One of those guys, to lead into the next question, is Kurt Hennig, the late Kurt Hennig. He should have been a world champion in my book.
I was in Japan with Kurt Hennig.
Uh-huh.
Him and several more. And he asked me a question. He said, I got to go back to New York. They want me to come up with something. And I don't know what to come up with. They want me to have some kind of a gimmick or whatever. A lot of people call this and call that. I said, well, yeah. I said, I was fixing to use, I've been using this Mr. Perfect for, a little while. Why don't you just take that and go with that and put it up there? Call yourself Mr. Perfect, and he went up there and he did, and he made a little run with that and the whole bit. And Kurt Hennig, he was something else. I like that boy. Now, let me tell you something about Kurt Hennig.
Uh-huh.
This may take me a few minutes.
Okay.
But Kurt Hennig, we were in Japan, and we roomed together, right?
Uh-huh.
So Kurt Hennig, I hear something one morning. One of these Japanese boys, they going nuts. They going, yeah. And I'm looking at Kurt Hennig. Now this is about 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, Kurt. He said, going back to sleep. He said, I'll tell you about it later. Well, what he had done, we got on the bus, and one of these Japanese boys had his eyebrows shaved on one side of his head, and his mustache was shaved on the other side. So he had one half of mustache gone and one half eyebrow. And he looks at me and he says, shh, don't tell nobody this. And this Japanese boy's got on the bus, and he was hot, boy. He was hot. And Kurt said, shh, I'll tell you about it later. So he told me, and Kurt had one of these hair things, where you could shave your hair or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and razor-like things, these clippers. And he had got that boy drunk. And the night before, we was all at somewhere, and he had got him drunk, put him in his room, and he shaved his eyebrow and his mustache. And that boy got on the bus, and when we heard all that noise was when he got up and he looked in the mirror in the bathroom, and he went nuts. and so on. And I looked at Kurt. I said, if you do that to me, boy, there's gonna be hell to pay you do that to me. He said, I won't do that to you. I won't do that to you. I said, you better that name, Mr. Perfect. Sure did.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that about 5 years ago that Kurt Hennig came to you for permission to use Mr. Perfect, and he went from there, making it up in Stamford, Connecticut, the WWE. And Faye Vaughn said, I remember, I think she's talking about Rainwater Warehouse you're talking about, and Buford Perry says Forest Park High School. So I'm not sure if y'all went to school together or what, but I know Bubba Perry very well, Buford Perry.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all went to school together. And Bruce and Tanya Henson, thank you for watching. And now I wanted to ask you, speaking of these crazy moves and stuff that a lot of these guys in AEW do and some of the guys in WWE do, did you see, because I still ain't got this one out of my head, did you see Ricky Martin do that Canadian Destroyer?
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing.
Oh, man. And some of these things that they do, you pray that they don't mess up.
Oh, yeah. Because if they do, it can be career-ending.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you got to be, there's not many ways you can keep practicing this thing, because the more you do it, the more you have a chance to mess up. And it don't take but one time,
That's right.
But, that's our profession. That's what we do. So, and that's what we're going to continue to do. The ones that, are out there now. I can't do it. I'm almost 69. I can't do those things anymore.
Uh-huh.
But I know how, and I did at one time. And I was lucky that I never got really seriously hurt. But you can. Anytime they do some of them things like that, they take it in their own hands,
Now, you were actually the first tag team partner that forced Arn Anderson. Is that correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Arn Anderson, we were partners for a while.
Okay, now, y'all had matching pajama hats after, because from my understanding, my reading up on y'all, is y'all feuded. You were Mr. Olympia, he was Super Olympia, and y'all feuded. Y'all had 3 matches. The first match, I believe you were victorious, and he was victorious. You lost your mask. Then the second match, you were victorious and he lost his mask. Then in the third match, y'all went to draw. Then after that, y'all became a team and had matching pajama hats.
Right, yeah. And we were a good team. Now we were a great team. I had some good team partners. You talk about Junkyard Dog. You talk about Arn Anderson. You talk about Robert Fuller, Dirty White Boy. I've had some good partners, and so on. But I guess me and Arn were probably one of the biggest and the best at the time, because we were hot. We were hot down there, man, and anything we did was good, and so on. So, and we draw good money and make bukus of money. And Arn, he picked up so good, he was, Marty Lundy. A lot of people know him as Marty Lundy. And he picked it up quite quick when I was over in Louisiana. He was over there. I think there's a match on YouTube that has me and him working against each other. And I said, we need to bring him over to, and I was kind of favored to the Pensacola territory with Robert and Ron Fuller and that group, because I started with them, and so on. So I started with them, and I was kind of favored toward them. And I called them and said, look, I got a guy over here that would be good in that territory, and let's bring him in as Super Olympia, and me as Mr. Olympia, and let's do something, and eventually maybe put us together. It was just good.
So, can you tell us a funny story about the late, great Junkyard Dog?
There's not really many funny stories, because Junkyard was kind of strict, and kind of setting his, and we're gonna go to to Foxy's gym, and they stayed open all night. He said, let's go to Foxy's gym and work out. I said, but dog, we got to leave by 8 o'clock. And he said, yeah, but hey, you can sleep on the way I'll drive. I said, yeah, right. He ain't never drove. I always drove. He said, you drive my car, I buy the gas. You know? And so on. So it's kind of funny. He said, no, I'll come to. He'd call me sometime 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Hey man, I can't sleep. Let's go work out.
Oh wow.
He'd be over there snoring. He'd go sleep. He said, you okay? He'd always call me O, Mr. O.
Yeah.
Hey O, you okay O? You okay O? I said, I guess I am, because you ain't gonna drive. But we traveled up and down the road. We did it. We was a good team, tag team, you know, when I went over there and everything. So it was a good territory. I loved the territory. I probably made more money in that territory than any territory I worked. So it was fun. It was fun. Bill Watt's hard to work for, real hard to work for, but he took care of us, you know.
Yeah, you know, when I met JYD, Junkyard Dog, I only met him one time. I was in middle school, and down at it was Carolyn Ford in Fayetteville, Georgia, down at the car lot. They had a wrestling show down there, and it was JYD. It was Bambi. The night, I believe it was the Nightmare was on the card. Brian Armstrong, before he was known as Road Dogg to all the fans out there now.
Right.
You had Steve the Brawler Lawler. Trying to think who you had. So who else was down there? I believe Sonny Siaki worked that show, and I can't remember who else, but you know, I got to meet JYD, and he was really, really nice and a good guy. And you know, I hated the way, in the moment that he passed, when I heard about he was coming back home from his daughter's graduation and fell asleep behind the wheel and, ran into a tree, and that was awful.
Right. Yeah, it was bad, because he loved his daughter, and so that's all he ever talked about was his daughter. And so on and so on. And a lot of people don't know this. It's kind of like just between me and Dog and whatever. But I was up in Charlotte, and I was working with Ricky Steamboat and some of them, and I wasn't Mr. Olympia. I was Gary Stubbs. I was just starting out and all that, and I was doing that. I was doing okay. And the Oates brothers were there. Gary and Ted Oates was there, and some of the others. Several of them, that I can remember. Steamboat was there, and a bunch of them. But anyway, what he came up to me one night. He was a fan, and he came up. He said, he said, Jerry, he said, I would like to get into this business. What can I do to get into this business? And I said, well, didn't know him then. I knew him as Sylvester then.
Yeah.
And I said, well, man, the only thing I can tell you is you got to find out somebody in this business that can get you in, because it's a hard business to get into, and you got to find somebody that you know or whatever. I said, he said, but I just want to get in. I don't care where I go or whatever. So I put him in touch with somebody in the organization there in Charlotte, and the next thing I knew, he was Junkyard Dog down in Louisiana. And
wow.
Too, it's funny because I was wanting to change territories, because I've been in Continental for a long time down in Pensacola. I said, I need to go out. I need to be out of here for a while, and so on. So I put in my little thing there with Bill Watts and all that, and me and Mike Sharp, they showed a picture of the Junkyard Dog, and I was in the mask then. He didn't know who I was. And I was built up, and I was in the mask as Mr. Olympia. And Mike Sharp, and he said, which one would you like me to bring in? Bill Watts asked Junkyard Dog. He had a lot of pull. And he said, you need to bring that masked man right there. Who is that masked man?
Wow.
And he told him that's who it was, me. kind of get choked up because I miss old dogs.
Yeah, Junkyard Dog. He was a good guy.
One over there was the Louisiana tag team heavyweight championship. That was against the Assassins. And we wrestled in the Superdome there. The big crowd, big ever, first title I ever won was right there. I won the Louisiana championship against the Assassins.
Wow. I did want to ask you, because I know you've had a storied history with Arn Anderson, but have you been able to do you still stay in contact with Arn now that he's with AEW being a manager?
Yeah, I hadn't seen him lately. I did see him up in Charlotte. We have a fan fest that go up there in Charlotte every year, and I did see him down here. We had one a couple years ago, and he came down and everything. And now I know he's with AEW and doing some things with them. But Arn's got a good thing about the business. You know, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to do things and kind of draw money, and that's what it's all about. You got to draw money. You ain't making no money, you ain't gonna make it anyway.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And Don Hogan, thank you for watching. Now another question I got for you. Now Harold, that asked the questions earlier. This guy right here, he passed away, I believe, last year, or the year before last. Is one of Harold's all-time favorite wrestlers. His name is Les Thornton. And I wanted to know...
Man, let me tell you.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a story about Les Thornton.
Okay, go ahead.
I took the world junior heavyweight champions against Les Thornton. One of the best technical, people talk about technical wrestlers. One of the best technicals. Him and Tony Charles was one of the best that putting you in a hole and telling you, well, figure how to get out of this, Well, shit, there's always two ways to get out of each hole, they say. But he would put you in a hole and he'd say, okay, now get out of this one, And he was amazing about how he worked the ring and all that. And actually, I have retired the World Junior Heavyweight Championship. I have it here at my house.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and a lot of people say what they want to, but I got it, and I also have a championship, a world championship belt, just like the one Ric Flair and they all had. That Terry Funk had, the whole bit. Jack Briscoe, I got it. I got one just like it, and I had a chance because I worked with Ric Flair in Birmingham, the world champion, when he had that belt. And you get a chance, if you ever wrestle the world champion, you have a chance to buy that belt, a copy of that belt. And it's just like the world championship belt. But you have to buy it, and it's yours and the whole bit. And I have that belt, and I got the world junior heavyweight championship belt.
Wow, now that's something I never knew, Jerry. I never knew that.
I don't bring them out and let people take pictures with me or nothing like that. I have them in a case. But I'm thinking about taking them to the Fan Fest thing down in Dothan this year, and take pictures with people and all that, and let them put the belt, right there and take a picture with the belt and because it's something that's meaningful. Because I was in Japan with Nelson Roll, who was a world heavyweight champion at one time, and me. Well, matter of fact, same time Kurt Hennig was there when I gave him that the Mr. Perfect deal. Nelson Roll was there with us, and I got a story about that deal, but I can't tell you on this.
Okay.
I'd have to tell you this one on the outside,
Okay, I got you. I got you.
It would be good. You'd love it, but it's not. I can really say on the air.
I got you. Now, what I was meaning that I never knew is I never knew that when a wrestler fights against the world champion, that they had the option to buy a replica of that belt. You know, I never knew that.
They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that, but they will tell you, okay, you know, the people that makes the belt, you can get a copy of this belt because you did wrestle the world champion. And you tell them, hey, yes, sir, I wrestled the world champion. That belt right there is just like it. You know, but I was the world heavyweight junior champion. So,
wow.
So I made that one, and I also I don't have a belt, but I was also the United States junior heavyweight champion.
Wow.
And I actually retired that one too. But I didn't get a copy of that. Nobody offered it or whatever. So if I could find somebody to make one, I'd like to get one made, but I can't find one like it. So.
Wow. I want to thank Chad Leatherwood for watching. You know, I want to bring up a story to you. I don't know if you know this guy or not, but when my dad worked at Sherwin-Williams, this guy came in, and he was a security guard there. His wrestling name is Sheik Zatar. And
yeah,
you know him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He worked for UWF, and he said when UWF closed down that he was the last champion, so he got to keep the UWF title. And his real name is Sanchez. But I haven't talked to him in about a year or two. He was living in California. He's came down here to Georgia before. He at one time was good friends with Abdullah the Butcher. He worked different times with him, and so you know when he was talking about buying belts and stuff, that reminded me of him. You know, having that UWF title. You know, because when the company closed and everything. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Right. Yeah. And when Louisiana folded, Bill Watts had all the belts. I know a guy over there now that has most of them, and he was able to buy them from somebody at that time. You can get them made, I was shoot. You can go on YouTube and look me up. You can go on Wepedia.com, and it'll tell you from the time I started, the time I ended, what all I did there. A lot of people don't know that. I tell them, well, just go on Wepedia.com and look up Jerry Stubbs, Mr. Olympia Wrestler, and it'll show you every title I won, when I won it, and so on and so on. So.
Yeah, and speaking of Wikipedia, that's where I go most of the time for my guests. That's where I found out about you and Arn and the Mr. Olympia and Super Olympia matches that y'all had. Right. But speaking of Wikipedia, on Wikipedia, it actually lists the Rock and Roll Express of holding different tag team titles about 60 to 70 times.
Right.
I mean, and I know they're probably never counted in the record books. They're not going to come out on a wrestling promotion and count that. And to my knowledge, now I know you've been up and down the road with Ric Flair. And
right, yeah.
To my knowledge, now you correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, I know on WWE they say 16-time champion, but hadn't Ric Flair been 23 or 24-time world champion?
You'd have to go back and see where maybe he lost the title for one night or one week in Memphis or in Miami or something like that. I don't know. There might have been a lot of times that happened, but he got it back and then he took it back and left, and went somewhere else. So there's a possibility that it could have changed hands several times. And I don't know. That would just be kind of news.
Okay, and also I know that Jerry Lawler, he had that belt in Memphis. I don't know how many times.
Right. Now Jerry Lawler kind of run the Memphis territory.
Mm-hmm.
long time. You know, he was the booker, and Jerry Jarrett was the owner, and so on and so on. I was up there. I went up there as a superstar. I didn't want to do it. I went up there for Bill Dundee as a superstar, and so on. And we were fixing to do a big deal, you know. But they wasn't treating me right, so I left. I left and went. You know, that's just what you did back then. You know, if you ain't gonna treat me right, and you ain't gonna do nothing, I ain't gonna make no money. I'm leaving. And that's the way it is. That's the way it was back in the day. You know. There's several territories out there that you could go to. You didn't have to rely on one territory to say, hey, you know, well, ain't nowhere you can go. You got to stay here. You know, you got to do what we want to do. No, that ain't the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, you gonna do what I'm self-employed. Actually, you gonna do what I say I want it done, but I ain't gonna do it. You know.
Now, what's it been like for you working with the Armstrongs all these years? Because I know you're very close to Bob and the whole family.
Yeah, Bob is not getting along real good right now,
Uh-huh.
and his wife's not. They're in assisted living.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
That's
he's
horrible.
not doing real good. I should probably maybe not be saying this, but
Uh-huh.
Bob would want people to know, his fans to know, that he's got prostate cancer
Oh,
and some other
no.
things, but Bob's still going, man. Let me tell you, he got in the ring last week. He got in the ring last weekend, and he's got a bag on the side, so you can't tell me he ain't tough.
My goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm telling you, he's tough. Toughest man I know.
Wow.
Between him and Harley Race, toughest men I know.
Well, our thoughts and prayers go out to Bob and his wife. Very, very sorry to hear that. And, yeah, Bob's been, Bob Armstrong's always been one of my favorites. I remember my dad always told me, growing up as a kid, he always said, old Bob, before he was a wrestler, now he used to be a Cobb County firefighter,
Oh, yeah.
and he always told me, about Bob and stuff, and he thought a lot of Bob Armstrong. I mean, a lot, and when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, that was
don't
neat.
remember this name, but him and Bill Dromo.
Big Bill Drumo.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad mentioned his name a lot.
Yeah, old Bill Dromo. They were big back in the fire department there and in the wrestling back in the day. Yeah, they were some of the bigger ones. Now Bob's gonna be down there now in May. This is a event that if you really wanted to go and see some of the older wrestlers, Dothan out.
Yeah,
Sure did.
I always enjoyed his commentating with Dutch Mantel on Continental Wrestling, and he'd always say, well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back at the commercial break, and Dr. Tom Pritchard will be defending the Continental World Title against the Grappler. Yeah, he was a good one.
That was back in the day, man. It was great.
And Bob Cottle used to broadcast for Memphis, didn't he? With Lance Russell. Bob Cottle.
Yeah, Lance Russell. Yeah, Lance Russell was the big one up there.
Yeah, and then didn't Lance work with Bob Cottle, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
a dog out here. He's got no peace.
Okay. Yeah, I've got my. Oh, that's okay. I got the little one right here. He's been sitting in my lap. But my next question for you. Oh, and fans, I forgot to tell you, I've been enjoying this interview so much. I've got to tell you, if you got any questions or comments for Mr. Olympia Jerry Stubbs, please leave them in the comment section below, and he'll be glad to answer them as he's already answered a few of them that have been asked.
Yeah, man. If you got any questions, you better ask now.
Okay, we got a few more questions to go, so fans, get your questions in if you got any. Now, let's see. Okay, I asked that question.
Yeah, man. Hey, and too, now I've had some good tag teams. Robert Fuller was a good tag team person for me. Junkyard Dog, Dirty White Boy, Art Anderson. Art Anderson and me and Junkyard Dog and me were probably the biggest. Now, I had Ted DiBiase, too, now. You know, we were part of the Rat Pack there for over there in Mid-South. So
yeah, I read you turned heel on Junkyard Dog and joined Ted.
Yeah, that's where it was either, you know, me or him, and I said, it's time for me to do this, and Bill Watts came and said, look, you know, I think I'm going to split you and Dog up, and Dog said, no, you ain't going to split us up, and so they ended up, you know, agreeing, and we did the little deal. It was, man, we sold out everywhere.
Wow, yeah.
Hey, I had a hard time, man. I fought people in New Orleans, anywhere down in Louisiana, man. Oklahoma wasn't as bad, but Louisiana, man, I had some fights that, hey, you would say, man, I don't know how he got out of that one.
Man. Carl Lentz, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for watching. Jerry, you know, you brought up having different fights, different places, so I want to know, back in the day, whenever you guys were wrestling town to town, night to night, was it on a schedule as it is in WWE as 365 days a year, or was it lesser or worse?
Actually, you know, I'm going to tell you this, it's more.
Oh, wow.
You wouldn't believe more, but see, we wrestled every day. When I was in Bill Watts territory, we very, very, very seldom got a day off. We worked twice on Saturdays. We worked twice on Sundays. We would go to Oklahoma City, then go to Tulsa, Oklahoma that night on a Sunday. We may go to a place in Baton Rouge and Lafayette on a Saturday. That Saturday afternoon and then at night. I mean, we worked those. So it was, and this wasn't even doing TV. We did TVs on Tuesday in Shreveport, and we might do 4 tapes.
Wow.
4 tapes. Wrestle 4 times in Shreveport. They would do what they call can it, put it in a can and use it later. But we may wrestle 4 times in Shreveport on TV on a Tuesday. And that's not counting the events that we wrestled in the evening on Saturday, and then Saturday night, and then a Sunday evening. So, you know, so we wrestled more than that.
How did you get anything to eat and rest?
You just did it when you could, and we tried to work out. That Dog was he was real strict on that working out, and I was his partner, and I drive him around. Bill gave him a Mercedes, gave Dog a Mercedes that he had, and gave it to him. And Dog said, "You just drive it, I'll buy the gas," and so on. It never cost me nothing to go to place. You know, because if we had to spend the night, the office paid for that, and so all my money that I was making was clear.
Man, I tell you, you know. I know they say ain't no Superman, but some people in this world are Superman, and when you talk about wrestling 4 times within a night, a day, and my goodness, Jerry, wow.
Yeah, there was times that I know I did 4 tapes on TV. I might wrestle in a tag match, a single match, and have another match, and before it was all over. That's 3 nights in Shreveport, and then we'd go somewhere else the next day.
But how many, let me ask this, how long were the matches you were in? I mean, the 4 matches, were they quick or long or what?
No, the TV matches maybe last 10, 12 minutes. But the house shows, we went, if it was me and Dog, we didn't go long. But if it was me and Ted, we went 30, 40 minutes.
Man. Well,
it's me and Dog now, because I took up most of the slack. Dog didn't take a whole lot of bumps. So I took up a lot of slack. So we didn't go maybe 10, 12 minutes on a match, you know.
Now, did y'all have the Iron Man matches back then or no?
The what?
the Iron Man, they call it now, 60-minute hour match?
No, we didn't have that.
You didn't have it? Okay.
No, we didn't have it.
So,
not that I know of, you know.
Something else, you know, I wanted to ask you, and I know you being a legend of the sport that you are, known worldwide. I want to ask your thoughts on something, and I want to know. I want to know exactly where this came from. I want to know. I want to know exactly when they did the AEW angle thing with Cody Rhodes. Where did that come from? I mean, because I've never seen that in wrestling. You know, where they did the MJF, where they had the strap and everything.
Right. You know, actually, I can't tell you because I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't see it or whatever. I try to watch it. I try to keep up with everything, watch what's going on. But I didn't see that. You know, I heard about some of it, but I didn't see it.
Okay.
You know, so I can't really say. I'd like to see it because I like to give my opinions on this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
A lot of people said I should be a booker, I should be in the office, and I should be doing this, that, and the other. But I have no desire to do all that. You know, I got my own ideas, and I see things that happen, and I say if they'd have done this and if they'd have done that, it would have been much better. But, you know, hindsight's whatever you look at it for. But, you know,
Yeah.
I just look at it and I say, you know, if you'd have done that or done this, or you'd have thought about that, what if you'd have done this? You know, would it have been better? It might not have been better. But, you know, in my mind, I think it would.
Yeah, I didn't even watch that part. I just paused it and then I fast forward. I didn't want to see that. But another question I had for you before my closing question: do you think that WWE did Sting wrong with how he was handled when he was brought in WWE with his run?
I do. I think he was done wrong, but I'll tell you this, that, and the other. I think a lot of things up there are done wrong. A lot of people are done wrong.
I agree.
You know, but money, that's money. You know, they got money and they can do what they want to do. And I think a lot of things are done wrong. And I sympathize, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's not my money being spent, and so on, and it's not their money being spent. So you got to go with the ride because they're the one paying the bill.
I agree. I agree. You know, there's a lot of things that, you know, I have to shake my head at and wonder, you know, why in the world did y'all do that?
Yeah. I know. I do the same thing. But now, I did like the first of the AEW when I started seeing it. I said, man, this is going to be nice and so on. But I think the last couple of times it's slacked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the bad thing. If you show everything you got on the first thing, you got nothing else to follow with. You got to have something better to follow things with.
Yeah, and you know, I know a lot of people have been criticizing Jim Ross, saying he didn't know who somebody was and all that. But the thing is, you can't expect him to know everybody. I mean, he's just getting used to these guys that are on there, you know.
Right.
And, you know, Jim Ross is one of the best commentators out there, along with the late Gordon Soley. I mean, you know.
Right. You ain't going to beat Gordon Soley, but the next person in line would be Jim Ross, and then the guy in Memphis.
Yeah.
And then
Lance Russ, yeah.
Jerry Lawler's good. Jerry Lawler's good.
Yeah. And my final and closing question for you is, do you have anything that you would like to promote? And I believe you did that at the beginning of the show, but you can go ahead and do that again.
Well, I'd like to tell everybody, you know, that's listening, if you're close by Barnesville, Georgia, down there, go to the Academy Gym. It's the second Saturday every month, you know, and they got some great young talent, and some of the old ones are filtered in. I'm even down there. So, you know, you might even get to see me, and if you are, come by and talk to me and say hello, get a picture taken with me, and so on, you know, and we'll have a good time. Now, if you're in Dothan or going toward Panama City, you need to stop in Dothan on the weekend after Mother's Day, on in May, and you really enjoy yourself. There's a lot of things going on. You won't believe who you'll see down there and get your picture taken. And if you come, you tell me you heard this broadcast, I'll give you a treat.
All right, fans, you heard it, and thank you so much for being on, Jerry, and hope you have a great rest of the week and a great weekend.
All right, man. You know, we live close together, so we ought to go eat sometime somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
All right.
Okay.
We'll do that. You got my number, so stay in touch and so on. And I enjoyed myself being on here. I hope I didn't talk too much.
Oh, no, you didn't. I enjoyed hearing the stories and everything else.
And I got plenty more stories, but some of them I'm just going to have to tell you when we go eat.
Okay. Okay, then. Okay. You take care.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Olympia, Jerry Stubbs, pro wrestling legend. And tomorrow, I will be releasing the poster for next Wednesday's show, which will air at, I'll tell you what, I'll release that tomorrow because I'm not going to tell you the wrong time, then you tune in at the wrong time. But I'll be releasing that poster for tomorrow. And go ahead and let Hudson West close us out with any further ado.